What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Well, you're in for a treat today. I'm joined once again by your friend Andy. What's up, Andy?
Hello, hobbyist, my friend. Good to see you. Good to talk crypto, mining, coins, 2025, whatever we want to talk about. I'm excited about all these things.
Whatever. Absolutely. So I invited Andy once again back on. You guys have loved seeing him on the channel. We have great synergy, and so I was like, man, let's get this guy back on here. And today we have a fun topic. So we're kind of broaching right into the end of 2024. Believe it or not, we are in the home stretch of the last few months of 2024. And I thought it would be fun to kind of talk about projects that we have our eyes on coming up to 2025. So we're going to kick things off. We're going to kind of go back and forth, very discussion based. So if you want to throw this on while you're riding in the car, podcast style, there's nothing fancy to see except for our two handsome faces. So enjoy today's video. Great segue. So Andy and I have both come to the table with 5 projects. We brought some extras just in case there's a little bit of overlap. We have not discussed this previously in regards to which coins we're bringing to the table. But coming into 2025, Andy, what is one project that you have your eye on?
Well, mine are kind of not just ones that I'm the most excited about, but also the ones that are my biggest positions in my portfolio because I have a lot riding on that.
Okay. All right.
But also the ones I've put the most money into, I've invested the most into because I have a lot of conviction. So for those who know me and know my channel, my number one, and this is, of course, is aside from Bitcoin because that's always number one in my heart. But my number one is Flux. I think with AI still being a big deal, I think that's going to be a huge narrative in this upcoming cycle, or at least I hope. And Flux being a compute project amongst other things, distributed compute. I think that it could ride that wave of AI. At least that's my hope, along with a number of other picks that are similar. But last cycle was pretty explosive for Flux. I'm hoping that this cycle is even more so because last cycle we didn't have that AI narrative happening, and we do now, and Flux has evolved since then. So I'm running my nodes, I'm stacking as much of it as I can in hopes that it goes to the moon in 2025.
Yeah, no, I think Flux is a great choice. Flux is actually on my list as well. So of course, our first one that overlaps here. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm hoping that 2025 is the year for the Flux project. Kind of been disappointed, over the last, let's say, few years with it. Really thought that we'd have more legs, things would have taken off, especially for miners. There's 2 things with Flux that I look at. One, as you mentioned, was AI. I've seen a lot from their point of view recently, just a lot from the marketing side talking about AI and it's there. I'm hoping that the proof of useful work ties in with their AI progress. And I've kind of seen some legs there, but I'm hoping that it really takes off, especially when it comes down to the customer side. That's my biggest concern. It's like, yeah, you're going to build it, but now do you have the customers to actually put the demand out there, especially for miners like you and I and others out there that are like, hey, I can put, my GPU rigs and such on this project, but will they actually get utilized? So yes, Flux is on the horizon for me for 2025 as well. So thrilled to hear that coming from you, especially for number one. So for my choice, one of the options out there that I have here is actually Octaspace. Octaspace is one that I'm looking at in 2025. If you go ahead and look at Octaspace over the last year, you will see very much at one point it was up over 400%. I think it's down to be a little bit more reserved, about 100%, somewhere around there. More recently, over the last year to date. So I've kept my eye on that. And Octaspace to me is very much one of those sleeping giants that I don't think anyone's really paying attention to. I think a lot of us miners think, okay, ETH hash, and we're like, oh, okay, whatever. It's another one of those coins out there. However, it's really stood on its own. I put a lot of my jazz miners on this. I actually have one that the X16Q I've had on it for over a year. Haven't really kept track of it. It's made several $1,000s on its own, just with the progress of Octaspace, which has been fantastic. They're launching their everybody's got their own AI version. They're launching their own version of that, but in a rendering kind of mindset, because that's really what Octaspace is made for and kind of built behind. So it's more on that rendering front versus more of your chat GPT and stuff like that. So for me, one of my choices looking into 2025 is Octaspace.
Yeah, Octaspace is not in my top 5 that I made for this, but it's certainly in my top 10 positions. I've been investing pretty heavily into Octaspace over the past couple years. Because again, compute, AI, I'm bullish on that topic. And Octaspace fulfills that. Plus, they've got like the wild card of like the VPN that they're launching and stuff. So, and like you just mentioned, their compute, their marketplace is either live or going to be live soon. So, yeah, that's one to watch. And I think last I looked, if it were to get to where Flux was last cycle in terms of market capitalization, I think that's like a 15x on Octaspace's current price, which I feel like is pretty reasonable. I mean, it's fairly undervalued right now. So yeah, love the Octaspace. Okay, my next one, and maybe this is also some overlap, is KASPA. I have sunk like 60 grand into KASPA machines to date. I've invested in KASPA. It has already run a lot, but it's one of those that I think could be like, the Solana of last cycle. Not that they have that much in common, but last cycle, Solana was this layer 1 that just blew up and went to almost $300, or maybe it was over $300 in value from only a couple bucks where it started, and had just a massive run. And I think KASPA could do the same thing. I don't know that hundreds of dollars per KASPA, but certainly going from 14 to 15 cents today to like $2 to $5, that is a pretty reasonable jump in my mind. And I'm just bullish on mining it right now, getting as much as I can through that, but also hoping that they launch KRC20 successfully before the bull run, and that in the bull run it has success, and then people build meme coins and other stuff on top of it, and then us miners, we get to rake in the transaction fees.
Today's video is sponsored by the team over at Dynex.us. I'm excited to partner up with Dynex.us to help announce that KASPA is now live on their platform and tradable today. You can now buy, sell, and trade KASPA actively on Dynex.us. Dynex.us is the first US regulated exchange to list KASPA. To help kick off the fun, Dynex.us is running a 100,000 KASPA giveaway event. Check out the links in the video description to enter to win. Yeah, KASPA is one of mine, so I'm not surprised at all, based off of the overlap here. Yeah, I mean, it's funny, I didn't have plans to be as bullish as I am now on KASPA, like go back 3 months ago. But here we are, and in the last 30 days, I purchased 12 KASPA miners, full-size KASPA miners. So it's
Drove
like, okay,
across the country to get
that's
them.
right. So I bought 9 there, just KASPA, with some more Jazz miners, which I put on Octaspace, which is awesome. And I actually just bought 2 more that I didn't tell Andy about that are arriving a Wednesday. Another KS5 Pro, as well as a 5L. I got a really good deal on these. Bought them actually from a community member. Looking to part ways with them. It's so funny how people like jump ship so quickly. Don't look at the long play versus where you and I are, where we're like, great, a miner, fantastic. Let's see how it does in a year and a half, 2 to 3 years from now. But yes, KASPA 100%. I think I'm hoping KRC20 gets launched. I think that's going to be great for the project. I'm looking for 2025 to be that year where KASPA kind of piggybacks on the success of Bitcoin, and then on top of that, we see some development on KASPA. I think that's really what's holding it back, is like the development. And a lot of people are like, how do we see this project blow up? And I look very closely at it from like an Ethereum perspective, and it's like, well, you need projects on there to create transactions to allow miners to be more profitable. And I listened to the great podcast that you had with the one individual from the KASPA project, and the fact that like their plans are that like even for miners, that after KASPA is no longer mineable, miners could still benefit from it because they're going to need miners for transactions. So it's like fantastic. Like here is another opportunity for it with everything. So yeah, I'm excited for KASPA to see where that goes. I have a decent amount riding on it now that a large majority of my ASIC farm is KASPA. So yes, 2025, I got my crosshairs there, but I've kind of decided I'm going to kind of hold my hands now for buying more KASPA miners anytime soon. I think I'm good. I think we're good where we are right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm tempted, but we'll see. The last time, though, I bought my most recent KS5Ls, and then iServer's like, "Hey, these are now
Oh,
50%
I
less."
know. Oh, that must have hurt. That must
Yeah.
have hurt.
So, hey, live and learn.
That's right. Okay, cool. So on to me for number 4. For me, actually looking at Geodnet. So for those of you guys not familiar, Geodnet is a DEPIN project. I've actually been stepping into more and more DEPIN projects, especially because of the current market. The way things are going for miners, electric rates aren't going down anytime soon, and we kind of need these projects that we can gamble with without putting out a ton of capital. So 600, 700 bucks, whatever that costs, to jump in on a project and see where it takes you. The fact that your electric rate with these DEPIN projects is close to nothing is fantastic. That means that your expenses aren't high per month on these, barely anything. So you have not a lot to lose. $600-700, I think, is a great gamble for it. This project really interests me because they're going the direction of kind of all of that data that they're collecting with their satellite miners, and then actually having an opportunity to resell that or to onboard partners with it. I mean, they're specializing in things like LiDAR, cameras, and a lot of the automation and autonomous systems out there, where it's like, okay, we as a society are moving in that direction, where it's like lawnmowers that can cut the grass, themselves. Or the one I saw more recently was a snowblower that could be run on its own, fully automated. And then as we see more and more of this conversation that we see coming out of like Tesla, where it's like, cars that could be driven on their own and that could be used as taxis. I'm like, wow, like data in this kind of level, I think is super important. So that's why Geonet for me is like, okay, we need one major player to partner with them in 2025, and off we go.
Geodnet is a $700, quote unquote miner that currently makes anywhere from 75 to 120 bucks a month. It's an incredible value just from a mining perspective. But what you just said is why I love it. It's in my top 10. I'm big on Geodnet, huge fan of Mike at Geodnet, because there's real world application. All you need to know about Geodnet is you run this miner, this quote unquote miner at your house, this station, and it takes this GPS, GNSS data and makes it far more accurate. Instead of being accurate down to 10 feet, it's accurate down to a centimeter. And why is that useful? Well, look at everything that uses, a perfect one you just mentioned is automated lawnmowers. Would you want one that's accurate to 10 feet or to 1 centimeter? I mean, you tell me. And they've already built this.
Your cat has a lot to say about a Geodnet. Do you hear that? That cat is on board right there.
That's funny. And they've only been in existence for 2 or 3 years now, and their network of sensors is already many factors larger than their Web 2 equivalent that's been building for over a decade. And that just speaks to the power of DEPIN. And they already have, I think, $1 million in recurring revenue per year right now.
Wow.
They're just getting started. So real world application, real world use case, already making revenue, great team, great product. It's like, how could you not be bullish on Geodnet? Okay, my next one. I am also, as much as I am bullish about AI in this next cycle, I am incredibly bullish on gaming, Web3 gaming, crypto gaming. And this is actually, I'm going to give you 2 for the price of 1 for this one, because I've got 2 that I've sunk about the same amount of money into, and they're the full spectrum. One is really, really small and early. The other one is like full on AAA. So I've sunk a lot of money into Off the Grid, which is probably one of the top titles coming out in terms of gaming titles, but that's actually Web3 with NFT element and tokens and all this various stuff. That one looks amazing. The gameplay looks amazing. People are raving about how fun it is to play. It's just in beta right now. It's just an alpha, actually.
What's it about? Give us the rundown. Give us the rundown. What's it about?
It's like a cyberpunk type, humans that have augmentations and stuff. It's a shooter. It just looks great. It's got upgradability and leveling and all this cool stuff. One of the people who has kind of done the world building in it is a guy who did the movie District 9 and Elysium. Yeah, so they've got some, Neil Blomkamp is his name. So they've got some like big like players on this game.
A lot of inspiration, it sounds like, from those movies too, based off of just what you said there.
Yeah, exactly. It looks a lot like, those movies. And so I've sunk a bunch of money into some of their validator NFTs, which will earn me their tokens. So that's on the high end of gaming, and then on the like super early end of gaming, I have Playable, which I've been talking about forever on my channel. It's teeny tiny market cap. They've already launched a couple games. They're launching like 3 or 4 more over the next year. They've got nodes that earn me passively, but it's like it's super cheap right now in terms of the tokens and stuff, and the upside could be like 1000x if everything went according to plan. But I think I can just package all this together and to say, crypto gaming, I'm extremely bullish on crypto gaming.
Yeah, I've seen crypto gaming talked about a lot from all different perspectives. You know, I think what's really going to set one project apart versus another is like, can they do it well? You know, I think a lot of these projects have really launched and then failed by the wayside, where like they forget that like they're a game and it's gaming to start with. So like do that well, but then add that avenue, that bonus of either NFTs or crypto earned or whatnot, because we've seen a lot of them out there and it's been really like a huge struggle. And so I think the platform that can really like make a good game standalone, that you don't need to be involved with crypto, and then that's a bonus, I think will do very, very well. I think that's where a lot of them have faulted, you know, at least in the past, at least up to this point. So awesome. So for me, jump on the next one. This is one where I have a lot of hope with, but I'm very skeptical on if they can pull this off because they've had a bad history, which is Helium Mobile. So Helium Mobile is one that I did well on in the last 2 years, and I'm hoping that success continues. They've even made some bad decisions already within the Helium Mobile space, just like they did with Helium, and I'm hoping that they can address those. Helium Mobile is one where I'm hoping if they can figure out a methodology to scale properly, I think they'll do very, very well. They've kind of are locked now into these more home owner based units. Like they have a home Helium Mobile unit, and then they also have one like an outdoor one, but it's kind of made the same way. So it's very small. Like your radius is very small. There's not a lot to it. They're trying to encourage people to buy more of these and have a bazillion of these units versus their original setup with the Helium Mobile, which was your CBRS units that have a much larger area circumference to them and radius. And they've just had a lot of trouble with those units, more specifically just with their phones kind of jumping on and off and devices jumping on and off them. And unfortunately, in Helium Manor, they've kind of decided to put their focus on these other units versus fix the existing one, which is a typical Helium play. This is what we've seen from Helium time and time again. However, I'm hoping, because I really like the idea behind it, I've been kind of involved with it for quite some time now. So it's that one's probably the closest one I have to being like the most unsure about, where I'm like, okay, maybe with a Hail Mary, this can be a huge one going into 2025, but we'll kind of have to see what happens.
Man, I feel the same way about Helium. I am super pumped on the idea of Helium Mobile. I love that they have released something that has a consumer-facing product, whereas with IoT, I mean, once they get max, when they had the max amount of hotspots out there, peak of that cycle of 2021, I guess. Their revenue for the entire year for IoT subscribers of using those hotspots and that network and data was like $65,000 for the entire year. It's like
it's like nothing. Yeah.
And Helium Mobile already has, I believe, 100,000 customers, mobile customers, and they're just kind of getting started. So if they can get that into like the 500,000 or 1 million customers within the next year or two, and they actually have people using it, because it's a very compelling offer, $20 a month and unlimited, data. That's awesome. Then I'm going to be very, very bullish on that, especially because you can run a thing from home, and then hopefully if the price goes up because of those factors, well then you're going to make a lot of money. But man, they could just as easily do what they've done before and pee in everybody's lemonade or whatever.
Yes, very much so. So what do you have next?
Next, Timpi. Timpi. I am so bullish on Timpi. I actually just recorded a podcast with the 2 CEOs of Timpi. Timpi is a data play. Data makes the world go round. Timpi is building one of the largest web data indexes in the world. They currently have the largest decentralized index of the web in the world. So that's they have nodes that go out there and they crawl the web and collect all the web pages and all of the information and package it all up into an index, and you can sell that data and utilize it any which way you want, for AI, large language models, for a search engine, for marketing, and take your pick. It's the all the data of the entire internet packaged together, and they can do it at a price other people can't. So they have that angle. The fact that it's growing rapidly because it's the DEPIN. I'm running nodes, other people are running those. They don't run their own infrastructure. That's an angle, but also the fact that Timpi is currently under a $3 million market cap, and even some of the worst DEPINs out there that don't have use cases are many factors bigger than that. So I just think it's a matter of time before people wake up to Timpi. And right now I'm running collector nodes, guardian nodes. My guardians are making like 30 or 40% a year, and I'm running a validator node, which is running an additional 17%. So I'm just earning across the board while waiting for the price to appreciate.
That's awesome. Yes, I have my guardian node. It's been up and running, which is great. Mine's actually with node orbit, which made it really simple. Jonathan helped me out there. It was like, here's what I need, off we go. So that's been great. I feel like everybody and their brother though is with like node orbit. Like, got to be careful on centralization there. Yeah, no, definitely a project. Was not on my list, but I'm glad you brought it up because I think that's a good one. So for me, my next one is Dynex. Dynex is one that we're moving in the direction the world is moving in, where, like, as you talk about, data and AI and compute all has a lot of demand. Dynex is one where I'm hoping that next year is the year where things kind of flip in their direction, especially with how far they've come. They're actually, last I spoke with them, they're working with a lot of major companies to actually come forward with reviews on their platform that are actually utilizing it. So I think that'll go good for them, especially in the avenue of, if we get some well-known household brands out there that work with Dynex, I think that's really where they might have some big legs to stand on with their project. I even hit them up very much so to say, like, how do we get more profits back to miners? Because that's kind of where I come from in that regard, because of the way that everything is set up. It's just, unfortunately, in a state where there isn't a lot of profitability, not even necessarily with the Dynex token, just with the rewards for miners. And I had a good conversation with Yeti actually at Mining Disrupt, talking about that and some of the things that they're doing in order to kind of put some of those rewards back to miners, and kind of make it less of a lottery with mining, and more kind of spreading out those profits. So I am excited to see where that goes, and I'm hoping that they do have some major partnerships out there next year so that does continue to grow, because that's a project where I love the fact of finding a use for these GPU mining rigs that we do have sitting around.
Yep. I like all those things, but I don't actually own any Dynex. It's one that I need to look at.
Okay.
And it's been on my radar, but I just haven't ever dove in.
I feel like Andy owns a little bit of everything. So, like, the fact that you don't, I'm like, oh, yes, an opportunity.
You own something I don't. Yeah, I love it.
Yes, that's right. All right, what do we got? This is number 9, actually.
Oh, okay. We still got more. Okay, great. So I'm number 9, you're number 10.
Yep, correct. Yep.
Okay. So for my final one that I'm contributing here, this is a wild card. This is an out there choice. I knew you would bring one. I knew you'd bring it. This is out there for people. It's an insanely small market cap. It is a meme coin. It is in my top 5 altcoin positions. It could go to 0, or it could go to $1 billion market cap this cycle, and it is Goon.
I knew that was coming.
My whole thesis around Goon is what happened with Solana. Solana popped off. People immediately said, what's being built on Solana? Okay, there's some meme coins. I'm going to jump into these meme coins, and there's a whole Solana meme season. This happened across multiple chains. Well, Polygon has never had that. And I'm hoping that with the switch from their Matic token to their Pole token, which should be happening this quarter or Q1 of next year, and the launch of their aggregation layer, which is a whole other topic to get into, but basically it's pooled liquidity across multiple protocols and chains. It's it's their solution to cross-platform, cross-chain type of stuff. If all that launches and all that transitions well, and then Polygon zooms and flies to the moon in this next cycle, I'm hoping that people will then look and see what's on Polygon and look for some memes. And right now, Goon is, I think, the biggest meme coin on Polygon still, or at least one of the most popular ones. And, you know, I want to go to the moon with my Goon.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think I have seen, now I have not played, but I have seen a lot of money be made with meme coins. Yep. I have never dabbled in that too much. You know, like one could say Dogecoin's a meme coin, sure, but you know, I think a lot of these meme coins that come and go within a week or a month, you know, they come very quickly. I have thought about playing in that playground a little bit of kind of jumping on board some of these meme coins, hoping to get in and out quickly and make some money. But man, that's a whole nother world in like the cryptocurrency space. Is really these meme coins, and most people are not really loyalists. They're just more the fact of looking to make a quick buck, which I can't blame you. Like, go for it, awesome, good for you. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought that to the table, something a little bit different. Now, are you more of a loyalist to the project, or more of a, oh, here's a fun opportunity to get into and get in and out when I can?
Given how small it is and how low the liquidity is and how much I have, because I've now talked about it publicly on my channel in several number of capacities, I'm long term. Okay. You know, ethically speaking, I couldn't exit if I wanted to right now, you know, and stuff. Okay. So I'm holding on to it. But also, I really do believe in that thesis that if Polygon takes off, this thing could do like a 100x from here.
Wow.
I'm willing to, you know, like many of my positions, I'm literally willing to ride it to zero, and I do not care.
Okay.
With the off chance that I get that 50, 100, 1000x out of it. So that's my stance. I will also say, though, that the people in the community, they've been like super committed for months and months now. Wow. So that is a rarer thing to see in the meme space, which is a part of my attraction to this one. But also, don't listen to me. I'm not like a meme coin guy. I've never made like tons of money with meme coins. I don't know what I'm doing with meme coins. This is my first real foray into it, and I just happen to find the right combination of special with this one. It might not work out, or it might melt my face. Only time will tell.
That's awesome. Cool. So for the last one for me, I think you and I can both agree on this, which is Bitcoin. I have to end with that one. So some things that I look forward to that I'm kind of tracking as we get into 2025, especially for Bitcoin. More and more people are investing away from traditional investing and looking for an alternative to the US dollar. And I think that, you know, as we move into 2025, I think this is going to be even more the case. You know, the more recent ETFs are giving, you know, your grandmothers or parents avenues to get into them with traditional investing. So I'm very eager to see where that goes. You know, with Bitcoin being talked about a lot in the current elections going on right now, you have that transpiring. But I think the big one for next year is, one, we have the cycles to look at, but then two, we also have to look at the fact of what will the next administration do with Bitcoin? You know, that's really the big question. Like, what is going to happen there? You know, we've seen the far extreme with one of the candidates talking about, you know, actually, you know, going to the Treasury to buy into this, you know, which would be fantastic for us. So we also have from the other side of the aisle looking at like really finding avenues to tax this and things like that. So there's all different avenues we can go for 2025. But I also do, and I think you can agree, that the swing that Bitcoin takes next year will affect everything else. All the altcoins we talked about will be affected by Bitcoin. So that is one where I almost have to keep my eyes on Bitcoin looking forward.
Yeah, Bitcoin, I mean, it's my number one. It's 50%, it's over 50% of my entire portfolio, my crypto portfolio. Most of my altcoin positions I just hold to get more Bitcoin eventually. It's just their means to an end, kind of. Yep. And right now, the Bitcoin dominance in the market is over 50%. And it's going to continue to dominate until we get into the next cycle, and it will lead the way. And I'm also, you know, I'm pretty bullish on Bitcoin in 2025, regardless of the outcome of our election, because I think either candidate, even if there's one that has more crypto and Bitcoin friendly policies than the other, neither one is going to stop the money printer. And if the money printer go burr, well, crypto and the stock markets are going to do well in the future. That's just what's going to happen. If that money finds its way back into the hands of people, they're going to buy stocks, they're going to buy cryptos. That's going to happen again. So I'm bullish that the cycle continues and that we have a very strong 2025. But again, It's 2024 right now. We haven't got there yet, so I guess we'll find out and see what actually happens and whether we're spot on or way off.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that was about 10. We went through. We got a few extras in there, which was awesome. I actually have some few leftovers just in case, which I think is great. But yeah, guys, would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. You know, what are 10 that you guys are keeping your eyes on? Keep in mind, you know, I want to put this out there. You know, this is very much things that Andy and I have our eyes on, that we're invested in. Is it really financial advice? No, like we're just two guys sitting on the internet talking about projects that we're interested in. So just be careful, you know, absolutely be careful, especially with things like meme coins that we talked about. Like it could be there today and gone tomorrow. So just make sure that you guys are extra safe. But yeah, 2025 is just around the corner, just under 4 months away. Looking forward to it. So outside of that, Andy, I think that's going to wrap things up for today. Thank you very much for joining me, sir.
Thank you, everybody, for watching us ramble about coins that we're excited about. Let me know your favorite. What are your top 10 down in the comments below? I want to know. Give me some good ideas. Where should Andy throw his dollars?
Don't get him started. All right, guys. Thank you guys very much for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. Take care. Today's video is sponsored by the team over at altairtech.io. I was in the market to purchase one of the newest generation Bitcoin miners, and Altair Tech had exactly what I was looking for. The Bitmain Antminer S19K Pro 120 terahash Bitcoin ASIC miner. I ordered from Altair Tech via credit card and was amazed at how easy it was to check out. Within 3 days, I had a brand new Bitmain box sitting at my front door waiting for me. Since then, I've ordered a boatload of mining accessories from their store. The Epic UMC control board, as well as 5 of the Altair Tech 30 amp 240 volt L6 30P PDUs. Go over and check out altairtech.io today and use promo code TheHobbyistMiner for a discount at checkout.